What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the final regular season episode of Season 1 of our NHL 25 Be a Pro Goalie career. It's been a fun ride up to this point. It's been a long ride, but we have finally made it to it's the very last regular season start, and we are actually getting that shot in net. It should be a fun one against Vancouver Canucks. For the Vegas Golden Knights, a historic season coming to an end. We are currently 54-20-7 with a chance tonight to get our 55th win. It's absolutely remarkable. For ourselves, this will be the 32nd time we've entered the net. Not quite 32 starts, but nonetheless 32 games played in. We currently have a 2.74 goals against average, a 915 save percentage, and an overall record of 18-7-4. So a pretty remarkable year for the young kid. Still lots of room to improve going forward, but everything, all of the year-long races, all of the struggles, and everything that we've worked towards ends tonight. I figured before we dive into the game, let's just have a quick peek at the stats just to see where players are at, if there's any last milestones we might be able to achieve. So for Jack Eichel, 104 points. He was able to get to that 100 point tally in our last start. He has added 4 more on top of that for 50 goals, 54 assists, 104 points total. Remarkable season for Mark Stone, obviously missing a handful of games, but still a pretty great year with a chance now to get 30 goals. Can he do it in game number 82 on the season? Holtz has had a remarkable year. Same with Hurdle, same with Barbashev. It's crazy that Hurdle actually, crossed the 30 goal scoring mark, as he was struggling for the first little while of the season, but really turned it on here lately. Just lots of great stuff up and down the lineup. I do not see a medical symbol besides Shea Theodore, so I am very hopeful that he is back in the lineup. We'll have a quick look at the lines going into this final game in just a moment. But when we compare that to the entire league, unfortunately for Eichel, Connor McDavid found a way to get it done. He is currently sitting at 106 points. They both have 1 game remaining. So it is still possible for Eichel to take the scoring, win into the final game. But of course, McDavid found a way to get it done. He currently leads that at 106 points. Not the most productive season, but a little bit more realistic. I think McDavid's probably going to have about 20 or 30 more points than this by the end of this year. But nonetheless, the numbers aren't something that is like NHL shattering. They're all pretty realistic. The goal scoring lead is held by none other than Austin Matthews, who had 61 by the end of this season. With he seemed to miss a number of games as well, so not quite sure what happened with him in the season, but to get 61 through 73 is pretty insane. Kucherov right there behind him with 1 game to play as well. Assist, it's going to be Quinn Hughes. Kind of expected that one. Braden Point was 72 as well. So it's been a fun year, guys. Like I said, it's all come down to this final start. I'm actually a little bit surprised that we are getting it, but it is the last half of a back-to-back, so why not throw the kid in one last time, see if he's all cleaned up and ready to go for the playoffs, and we'll see what lies ahead of us in next episode as we enter the playoffs for the first time in our career. We're just looking for 1 start in the playoffs. Like I've said all along, we are the backup regardless of how good our season has been. Adin Hill has been just that much better. I expect him to get the majority, if not every single start, but we'll simulate through the games. We'll look at the box score, and if there's a chance we can get between the pipes, we better be ready for it. So the final game of the season, game number 82, it is the Golden Knights and the Canucks one last time here at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. We'll see if the boys can put up their 55th win of this remarkable season to cap off the 24-25 calendar year. Here we go, baby. So Quinn Hughes, we saw he was the leader of the assist column, kind of expected. Jake DeBrusk having a great year. He's also having a fantastic year in real hockey as well. Jack Eichel in now, looking to try and get started early here against Thatcher Demko, who is actually back in the net here. Well, I guess he's been in the net, unlike real hockey. 59 games played in is a pretty remarkable achievement. And Vancouver, as they get set and ready for the playoffs, I believe they're holding one of the wild card spots. Quinn Hughes now, they'll go for a skate in his own zone, now through the neutral zone. Gets pushed off the puck by Jack Eichel, and it will squirt into the corner for Shea Theodore, who is back and just in time for the playoffs. So a great boost to the blue line. Barbashev will rip a shot short side against Thatcher Demko, and he will hold on for the second save of the game here. Not expecting too much from this one. This is kind of just a a fun game where we can go in and, see what the boys can produce. Just make sure that they're ready to go, looking sharp. It is the second half of a back-to-back now, as DeBrusque had a moment where he looked like he was going to break into the Vegas zone all alone, but he will stumble with the puck and lose it at the blue line. Now Pietrangelo will carry it out up to Mark Stone. He needs that one goal. Barbashev tries ripping it, hits off the shin pads of the defenseman. Quinn Hughes now up the sideboards to Brock Besser. Besser in one-on-one, and that is a weak goal for our first one here, and probably for the third or fourth straight video. The first shot on net. That is not the goals they're looking for, and I mean, he brought that in late. It's a great shot, and actually an animation that matched the shooting style. He kept his stick in front of him. It's a low shot. We get a piece of it, but we're late going down into our butterfly. And like so many of you guys have pointed out online, just those in-tight shots just seem like the goalie can't catch up to them. And it's an early goal here. Another assist by Quinn Hughes. Is with the games going around the NHL, he will regain that assist lead. 28th on the season now by Brock Besser. And once again, we let in the first shot of the game. Something that I'm not overly happy with, obviously, but at the end of the day, I felt like I was in good position. Maybe reacted a touch too slow myself on the controller. But when you figure, at the end of the day, I think I am overanalyzing it. You got to remember that we are only 77, 78, whatever we ended the season off overall. 5-hole has been a weakness. We've been working on it all season long with lots of hours of training. Unfortunately, it's still not where it needs to be. Sprong now with the ping visor. He'll get across to Garland. Now shoved to the ice. Noah Hannafin back on. Reunited with Zach Whitecloud, so defensive pairings back to what they will be going into the playoffs. Whitecloud now up to Hurdle, finds Holtz. Holtz to Hannafin. Hannafin shoots it on net. Demko fights that one off, but gets it after a nice little stick tap by Myers. We're nearly 5 minutes into this game. Vancouver holding on to that 1-goal lead. That quick shot, 5-hole. Not the start we were looking for, but it's at the end of the day, like I said, it is the last game of the season. You just want to make sure that you're not, doing anything too stupid out there. Hurdle, he'll battle through and get that puck over to Whitecloud, who battles his own man in front. But Garland will steal that puck. A nice stick lift by the Vancouver Canucks blue line. Garland now into the corner. Zach Whitecloud giving chase. Now up forward to Dorofeyev, and it looks like Holtz will beat the defenseman across, back in front to Eichel, who tries ripping it home short side over the glove of Thatcher Demko, and he'll make a great save. Eichel he truly has been just the leader on this team. I mean, you look at the overall season, yes, he's right behind McDavid for overall points, but more than that, I mean, Eichel has just found a way to lead whoever is on his line. Couple changes throughout the season, they just seem to piece it all together game after game, and it's been really fun to watch. He's struggled throughout some of the season on his face-off, but when it matters most, he finds a way to get it done. He's really had an impactful year. And for him to get that 50 mark, for him to get that 100-point mark, it's just great to see. And, especially when Stone has had some injuries, we've seen it in our playthrough as well. I mean, game imitating reality. What happens in real hockey comes back to bite you sometimes, and Stone has missed a handful of games, not as much as some games or some seasons in NHL. But it's great to see that we have a leader on this top line alongside Mark Stone. He has taken over this season, and now Mark Stone just about has a chance. Far side, but it steers into the corner for Roenick. Roenick now up to the goal scorer, Brock Besser. Stripped away by Pietrangelo. Line change coming for Vegas as Nicholas Waugh is fed by Dorofeyev. Nicholas Waugh in. Dorofeyev joins the charge and gets a shot that redirects down low off the pads of Thatcher Demko. Now Roenick again leading out for Quinn Hughes. Up to Joshua. The speedy Joshua down the far side. A backhanded pass gets picked off by Noah Hannafin, and now Nicholas Waugh. Waugh up for Dorofeyev. See if this line can connect one more time in the final game of the season. They've actually been really good. Remember, we're playing in a game where we're only playing 10-minute periods, 7-minute periods for that matter. And the third line's usually not utilized, just given how the stamina recharges. The top two lines get the bulk of the periods. But when they step on, they've made the most out of it, man. They've had it. Oh, another 5-handed goal and a giveaway in front again. Daniel Sprong gets a pass. I don't even know if it was really a giveaway, just a weird battle here. Colasar's giving chase. I guess it's not really a giveaway. He never lost the puck. It just goes into the skates of White Cloud. And Daniel Sprung gets a gift, and he'll shovel it through the 5-hole once again. And I got to tell you, when we're in the offseason this year, all of my training hours are going into 5-hole. I mean, yes, I moved a tiny fraction across the blue paint. Had to lift my leg to kick off from that far side. And in a game where we are just, well, you know, we talked about making some good habits going into the playoffs, and this is probably the farthest thing from a good game that the young goaltender would like. 2 shots now, 2 goals, both of them 5-hole. Something that has plagued us for so long now. We just need to touch this puck now. They've got a little bit of a lucky goal there from Daniel Sprung. The first one was just a good shot. And as we finally touch the puck, hopefully we can settle into this game, and they're going for the 5-hole all the time now. And why wouldn't they? Scoring 2 shots. We now have at least a 50% save effort in this one. Carlson now, he'll challenge Demko on that glove side, and it's a great save. 8 minutes down, or 8 minutes left in this first period. I don't know why this started recently, but I can count back as many as 3, maybe 4 videos ago, and the first shot has not only gone in, but most of them have been 5-hole as well. So you just kind of laugh at it. You know what you need to improve on. Brock Besser now in. He's challenged by Pietrangelo. Gets it back to Quinn Hughes. A tip in front. And a good job there by both defensemen to find that in the open ice. Carlson now challenged by Brock Besser. He'll lose it. DeBrusque will go behind his own net, finding Miller. Miller now to Quinn Hughes as Hughes gets absolutely flattened to the ice surface. Line change coming out now by Vegas. Besser working hard against White Cloud. Back in front, and JT Miller will try to go glove side this time, and a couple of saves now. Maybe, like I said, we can ease into this. Big hit there by White Cloud onto Brock Besser. Face off to our left now. You know, it's always a fun time kind of reflecting on the season, looking back at what your first season was. I remember in LA of last year's game, it was a totally different tone of a season. You know, we had a pretty rough start for both myself and the team, but then we found some legs going into the trade deadline. But when the GM traded away about 4 or 5 of our core pieces, it was a whole new ball game. We kind of just took over the job in the second half of the season, kind of built up. Oh my gosh, what a save. Couple big saves now as Vegas looks tired in the second half of back-to-back. Yeah, we took over that starting position, went into season 2 as basically the 1A, 1B goalie. Got a number of starts. Fortunately for that season, the game got plagued with bugs that prevented us from leveling up. So it was kind of a really unfortunate end to that series. But in this season, like I've talked about for so many episodes now, it's just the season that Vegas has put together is nothing short of spectacular. And for us, you know, you never really know what kind of goaltending you're going to have as a rookie goaltender, starting the league at 68, 69 overall, developing into, you know, a pretty reliable backup goaltender. There's no way we were going to take the job away unless the team really sucked this year. But it's been great to get into the net. It's been fun to record these videos. I do think that NHL 25 has set itself up for a pretty strong future. You know, granted, they keep releasing some really nice bug cleanup patches and things like that. And what is going on with our defensemen? I am not sure what's happening. Shea Theodore, obviously one of his first games back in the lineup, but it seems like him and Pietrangelo are kind of getting, you know, tied up in each other's skates and not really figuring out where the puck's going. That's another shift by Vancouver that has just led to some scary moments in front of the net. We need to clean this up quickly. Not a lot of time for them to get reunited. Not that I think that they will have any issue building that chemistry out very quickly again. But when you miss some significant time, even for AI, even for a video game, it's really noticeable when the two do not click as well as they have been throughout the season. Now some great puck cycling here by the second line. Hurdle trying to keep the puck in. He's fighting off his man, but what a workhorse. Empty net penalty coming here, and not my favorite time to get a penalty. It sounds weird again being in a video game, but it's just like real hockey. When you get a penalty, as what a job by Hurdle, just shoving off DeBrusque, and he gets a little too fed up with what was happening. 2 cross checks to the numbers, and he's finally going to be called right at the end of the first period. And what I was about to say is I'm not a fan of getting a power play to start a period, 22.9% on the power play this season. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It's one of those things where the fresh ice, the fresh bodies, it does make it hard to get in and set up, but we will go to the second period down a pair of goals. That's the latest one there. Just mistiming with the push off from the right side of the crease. You can see the kid react, but we finally did touch the puck. 8 shots apiece. Very physical game. 31 hits, even for a Be a Pro where we're playing the game. A 31 hit first period is absolutely insane. That almost seems incorrect. We will head to the second period here of the Rogers Arena. The Canucks leading 2-0 as puck drop gets us underway with a power play. Basically a full power play here to start the second period. And we're just going to play this one out. Hopefully the boys can use their momentum. Eichel with a nice pass, a great reception. And Carlson now back to Hurdle. Hurdle gets the puck down low. And unfortunately for Eichel, I think when he retrieved that puck at the blue line, he had to like kind of stretch and use his stick in a weird way where he was unable to get set back up with the stick in front of him. Kind of had to just dish it off. And a shot attempt at least. Eichel now back to Carlson to Shea Theodore back in the lineup and a nice shot on net. Demko with another big save. If Thatcher Demko can bring into the playoffs what he displayed this regular season, playing nearly 60 of the starts and having as good of a record as he did, I still think even with Vancouver's struggles lately in the second half of the season, they have a good chance now. What an effort there. A good read by Hurdle, and now Thatcher Demko and stuck in a desperation mode. Theodore unable to keep that one in. Carlson will regroup. Mark Stone now down low, across seam pass back to Theodore. Eichel in front to Hurdle, and there is the patented Thomas Hurdle shot. We've talked about how explosive that release is from anywhere on the ice. He was not using it for the first bit of the season, but since really stepping on it here in the second part, second line center. What a blast from the point. You saw Demko was deep in his crease, unable to get up from that weird animation, and with a little bit of traffic, he just misreads that shot, and Thomas Hurdle will blast home another goal here, this time on the power play, giving Vegas some much-needed legs here. Very slow start to this game, 2-1, and it's a great start in the second period. Eichel and Theodore, so there's one assist by Eichel, maybe a chance to pass Connor McDavid. You got to assume he's going to get a couple in his final game of the season. DeBrusque back in front to Miller, and we'll hang on for another save here. Make sure that we're just slowly building back to what we know. Again, I don't really know what's going on in the first few shots of the game, but they've fallen to 19th. I still think they're in a playoff spot when we checked. They have had a rough go here lately. DeBrusque brings that puck towards the net. I probably should have covered that one up or at least made a passing play. Mark Stone, 1 goal away from 30. Can he join, I think, 3 of his other teammates? Who do we got that has 30? Obviously, Jack Eichel is in the 50s. You have Thomas Hurdle now at 32. I believe Holtz is at 37, maybe? I don't know if Carlson got to that number. I don't know if Barbashev got to that number. We do have a few guys that are really close, right on the cusp, and the captain is no exception. 1 goal away as the puck off the face-off wing goes across Thatcher Demko's crease. He lets it play, now Brock Besser away. DeBrusque into Vegas territory, back for and a couple of weird bounces off the stick of Brock Besser, now scrambling in net here. Another good block, sacrificing. You love to see Eichel getting down low to block that one. It's not an easy shot to take off the legs this deep into a season this close to the playoffs, but what an effort by such a strong leader this year. Barbashev back in front, and a gross goal, a gross reaction. No, 25 goals is what he's at, but still a remarkable year. And what an effort by Ivan Barbashev to tie this game at 2 and put on a bit of a patient and hands clinic. Just comes out of the corner. Not quite sure where Quinn Hughes was going back to cover Holtz. I'm not quite sure why his AI did that. Leaves Barbashev all alone in front. That's Miller covering for wherever the other defense is. And it's a backhanded beauty under the blocker over the pads. And what a goal here in the second period. And now Vancouver looking like the more sluggish team here. 16-26. It's only 4 minutes down. And Vegas has found a way to pot to another assist by Jack Eichel. So look out, McDavid. We are done. If you were looking at just McDavid's points total going into this game, he was sitting at 106. With his second assist of the game, Eichel at least ties him, assuming that McDavid won't get anything in his next game. And I mean, look at this speed. We take off very quickly from the crease, but EA, if you somehow see these videos, if you somehow pay attention, you got to increase the speed skating to the bench. It is embarrassingly slow considering I've put so many points into acceleration and speed, and I don't even get halfway to the bench before the whistle is blown. But it's going to be Daniel Sprong with a slashing penalty here. Not what you love to see. If you're Vancouver, you're a little concerned. These are some of the tendencies they've had. Last time we played them, we saw this too. They start off very well, get a little sluggish, get a little frustrated, and the AI is taking some very undisciplined penalties as they've already allowed that game-tying goal to go in. Will make a save on Hoglander, short-handed there. Second line on the ice for Vegas to start this power play. Susie able to strip that one away. Now he'll just dump it down low by Hurdle, the big tall man, grabbing that one out of the air and sending forward Holtz. So remember, Hurdle plays our blue line. So if you're wondering why he's out there again with this second unit, it's because he actually plays the blue line alongside Shea Theodore. And I think that's actually such a smart play because of the shot. I mean, we literally saw him score on that shot. It's really good to have somebody there alongside a quarterback like Shea Theodore who loves to distribute the puck, move it forward, find some, angles that other players might not see. And then on that other pairing, you have Pietrangelo, who does very similar things, but has a little bit more of an offensive mindset. Theodore shaking off his man, finds Alexander Holtz back to Eichel. Line change coming in. Eichel steers that one off the foot of the defenseman in front. Sherwood now to clear it. He gets it to the blue line and out, but Eichel there to pick it off. William Karlsson, line change, gets Mark Stone on for the final 30 seconds. He bats that one down. What an effort there by Mark Stone. And now he's working so hard in the corner. Pietrangelo to Karlsson, back to Mark Stone. Look at this puck cycling here. And a good effort is William Karlsson will just get that one through. And it's such good puck movement. Now 29 goals. He is one away from joining the 30 tally marker. And what a play there by, I got to give all the credit to Mark Stone in that one. Unbelievable. But it's William Karlsson with a quick shot, a little bit of his own rebound off the stick in front, and he gets, you can see the shot right there. It sends Demko down. He gets a little bit sliding, looking around Susie, who's a big defenseman, taking away his eyes. And for William Karlsson, unbelievable effort. Two men now sitting at that 29 goal scoring marker. Running out of time here. I mean, we still got half a game to play, but all things considered, what a season by some of these young men. Mark Stone now working on the blue line. He'll kick it free to Whitecloud. Whitecloud crisscrossing with Hannafin, sends Mark Stone. Mark Stone down low, challenge. Now they're sending two Canucks players to take care of him. Garland back into Vegas territory, loses the puck. Good poke check by Whitecloud. Back in front, Garland to Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes, who's been so effective all season long. He nearly has 80 assists in this season. Hronek will just fire that one on with some traffic in front looking for that tip. So what started as 2 goals on 2 shots, we have quickly found many saves here. We're almost up to 20 shots again, so much better second period from both the boys in front of us as well as myself. A rebound right in front, but some bodies sprawling on the ice. That was Elias Pettersson, unable to get up in time. Now the third line goes to work. Colasar, nice hard shot off the glove. One front, Colasar winds up, and he blasts that one off the blocker. Now Daniel Sprung with a nice read and an interception to send this puck the other way. Sprung across for Hughes, who was trying to join. Now Colasar will take off thanks to the turnover. Colasar back in front, winds up for another snapshot. He loses it, and Daniel Sprung once again. And a bad line change, but a good effort by the Vegas defenseman of, I believe that was Shea Theodore, had some gas left in the tank, or was just coming on for his shift, rather. We've seen that a few times. That's something that these EA games haven't figured out very well, is anytime the AI triggers a line change, it completes no matter what the situation is, and that's led, to some really unfortunate breakaway goals or breakaway opportunities. So hopefully in the future they can find a way to make it a little bit more intuitive, where if something, a turnover occurs, that they cancel the line change, but it just hasn't happened yet in any of these NHL games. Mark Stone loses the puck, but with his body, once again, he had a seam across, unable to find Barbashev, who's streaking to the front of the net now. JT Miller JT Miller down low, tries to feed a man in front, and Barbashev's back to pick that one off. Now Mark Stone in front of the benches, down into Vancouver territory. A little bit of a weak shot as Eichel takes a very awkward hit. Slow to get up, but I think that's more fatigue than anything else. Hopefully, anyway. Mark Stone down low, back across, and it looked like a one-timer was coming in, but aborted that play, and now we have Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes for the Vancouver Canucks will wind up with a hard shot. Not known so much for his goal scoring, but more his creativity on the ice. Gets a nice shot onto the blocker side of the goaltender. Hughes now back in front, and that is an unbelievable shot by Elias Pettersson. 31 goals on the season, and that was maybe one of the hardest shots I have actually seen in this game. In and out. You don't see that in NHL games. What a wrist shot. In, off, out. Wow, what a shot by Elias Pettersson. Rips this one past Noah Hannafin and past the gloves of our goaltender. What a absolute rip, and there's just nothing you can really do there. We were in position, we were out, pretty far in our crease, taking on that shot, and on the 24th shot, Elias Pettersson is going to absolutely, what a shot by the young man, and that's a tip of the cap right there. Unbelievable shot. I've actually never seen that happen, where the puck goes in that quickly, and that you see it in real hockey all the time. Like, that's not something new. But for it to actually mimic that in this game, where it hits the top meshing and just rips out just as hard as it went in, is pretty cool to see. Myers now. Myers in. We know he has a cannon. Sprung, and that's a bad effort by me. I was so slow reacting to that, but what a weird game. 4-3 now for the Vancouver Canucks, and I was late getting across on the controller, but even still, this cross crease passing is just so overpowered. That's such a fluffy goal, and just because I was a fraction late, my goaltender goes into a desperation attempt and just whiffs on it completely. Daniel Sprung getting a goal here late in the second period to regain the lead for the Vancouver Canucks, and not what we wanted. We were finally finding our groove. That Pettersson blast gave Vancouver some legs that they were looking for. But not the greatest effort. I will take ownership on that shot. Needed to be faster. I didn't know what Myers was going to do because he was in one-on-one with us. I thought maybe with how big of a shot he has, he was maybe going to take a chance, but Pettersson with a big hit, loses his helmet and his stick. Will have to go to the bench, and we're just going to move this way out in front, get that helmet out of here, make sure that the puck has no chance of hitting that in front of the net. Some turnovers here, and just as I said, move the stick away. It hits the stick on a passing attempt from Pietrangelo. Dang, that one stings a little bit. That's the first goal I feel like in a long time that was actually really bad effort. Is what it is. 4-3 is the game. 3 minutes left here in the second period. Miller, errant pass into the hands of Shea Theodore Carlson now. Back for Nicholas Waugh. Second line hemmed in their own zone. We'll see if the third line can do better. A weird shot attempt by Wall, and Raquel will send this one the other way. Besser now back in front, and undresses us is Ricard Raquel with 28 goals. And this is just not the game for the final game of the season that we were hoping for. A brutal odd man rush. And you can just see the fatigue in the Vegas defenseman. I mean, nobody's back. Theodore trying to catch up to Brock Besser. Besser with a beautiful soft pass, and I mean, Pietrangelo's nowhere to be found. But then again, we completely bite. I just about got the blocker up there. I knew as soon as he pulled it backhand, he was going top shelf. We got across, we tried to make the save, but unfortunately just not the greatest one-on-one. And all of a sudden, 4 quick goals, 3 quick goals, whatever it is. This Vancouver team looks alive, and not the night to finish off our season that we were hoping for. And I mean, this is just embarrassing at this point. I almost want us to get pulled from this game. JT Miller with another gift from Brock Besser, who is making the Vegas defenseman look absolutely embarrassing. A face-off win. Quinn Hughes, that was to Brusque actually, who made this beautiful pass. And I mean, okay, just continue to pour it on here. When it rains, it pours sometimes. We're still in the net. No reason to actually use Aiden Hill. But not the night we were looking for. Miller now approaching that 30 goals. And, well, you guys wanted a fun one for the final game. You're getting it. It's a goal scorer's paradise out there. And I mean, you can just see what the overpowered AI momentum does in this game. It's the only thing I still really do not like about these NHL games, and I've seen a number of you guys commented about it as well. As you know, you can be having a really good game. Don't get me wrong, we started off horribly in this game. Not proud of how we started. But through the second half of the first period, the entire majority of the second period up until this point, we've been playing really well. And the second they get one goal, the legs just turn on for Vancouver. The legs turn off for the Vegas Golden Knights. And everything they do is just so overpowered. But, you know, it at least mimics riding some good momentum. They found a way to bury it a couple times. Now they're just getting rewarded by some cross-seam passes that one-timer mechanic is absurd. But anyway, back into the Canucks territory. We'll click down the final few seconds, maybe, as Miller has a step. Master, you cheeky player, trying to go 5-hole right at the end of the period. This time we'll close up shop. But what a period by both teams. First half for Vegas, second half for the Canucks, and wow. It all stems from that one bad goal that I let in. I mean, Elias Pettersson got the party started. It was a beautiful shot. But a 7-goal second period sees the Vancouver Canucks up by 3, 6-3, going into the final period, the final regulation period of the 82-game schedule for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Canucks. It all comes to a close after this, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if there's anything left in the offensive tank that was this season, and a chance to get 55 wins. As a rookie, you know, the quest for the Calder, you're not the most happy with how this one's shaping up. I didn't think we had much of a chance anyway. It's pretty harsh on goaltenders. But still very proud of the season, regardless of what happens here in the third period. Pietrangelo not looking very good in this one. Another giveaway, and these guys, the AI has the read on us tonight. They know what's working. As my lord, stop with the cross-seam pass. We know it works. Give it up. Eichel back to Barbashev, and Hughes will block that one. DeBrusk sends it forward to Miller. Miller now in, and we'll back up into our crease, make sure there is no rebound or any opportunity for a tip in there. It's been a fun one, even this game. Like, yes, it hasn't gone my way, but you love to see the battles going down the stretch into the very bitter end. I mean, nobody's giving up on a game. It's game 82. I mean, for all I know, Vancouver might actually need these points, and I mean, now it's just embarrassing. Now this is just EA, unfortunately, taking down our stats a peg. I mean, we're in nothing but perfect position, and my goalie just completely... Look at the sky. He looks to the sky, and he just can't believe it as Eichel bumps Miller, and with a weird backhander, just absolutely roofs it. I mean... Yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, the ice is tilted so hard, and the momentum for the Canucks is so grand that the AI is just going to continue to reap benefits. But I'm actually surprised the coach is keeping me in. I respect it. I know why they are, but this has been brutal. This has not been good for my part. It's not been good by the team's part. 7 goals. Have we even let in 7 goals this year? I don't even remember. There may have been 1 or 2 games. So bad effort here in the finale. Holtz now stripping that puck away. Ertl will cut to the middle, and he'll lose it to Roenick. Another turnover, and just Vancouver's the better team. But in case you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, and for those who don't understand how the momentum works in this game, so the way they've designed the Hockey IQ, it's always kind of been the case, but this new Hockey IQ system, when they broke it down in their explanation, basically how it works is, when you are playing in a game, and this goes for online as well, there are momentum shifting events that will trigger for a team that is utilizing it on a more often basis. So basically, because Vancouver scored, their players get a little bit of an uptick towards their overall play in the game, their momentum. If they score again, especially in a relatively quick, that number gets multiplied exponentially, and then you start to have the other team decreasing in overall game performance until a momentum will shift the other way for that team. Because Vancouver did it 3 times, it's at a point where unless Vegas gets extremely lucky, you will not even see very good scoring chances in the other end. The ice tilt in this game is insane. the momentum going for or against teams are insane. And it's very, very hard for the AI to snap out of it. That's why in Be a Pro, sometimes you can make the difference and be that person who can snap it out and get your AI back. But it's kind of it's meant to be a balancing act between a team that's playing well and a team that's playing bad. And then if you're getting on these little bit of momentum, the numbers get fluctuated. The problem that myself and so many people in the EA community has is the numbers in which it multiplies for the good versus the bad, or momentum versus, you know, bad momentum, is so ridiculously skewed in the favor of the good that when it happens, it's almost like a cheat code. And you see it online all the time. If your team scores 3 or 4 goals, hey, a great play there by Pietrangelo to find Jack Eichel, who is still looking for that scoring title, 51st of the season. A great effort there, and maybe you'll see a little bit of a momentum swing now. I can't say momentum today. Great shot there. Thatcher Demko a little deep. But yeah, it just seems like the momentum is very overtuned for the people on momentum and not enough of a catch-up feature for the teams that are trailing. So I hope in the future, I don't necessarily dislike the momentum that this game has. I just wish, because of the full pressure system and other various factors, that they would find a way to make it all encompassing and all balanced. And right now it doesn't feel like that. That's not to say, I'm not trying to say that to say that's the reason we're losing. I'm actually playing like crap here in this final game. But you see some of those goals where they should never go in. And the team in front of us looks absolutely dog-tired. Carlson now. We'll turn our attention back to the game. You can see the need. The goal is our challenge. Even though I'm a goalie, EA, get your goalie stuff figured out, please. Miller back to Besser. A nice, hard, sharp pass. Hits the skate of, I believe, Carlson coming across the blue line. He'll take it now for a skate. Gets it down low. Thomas Hurdle working against Quinn Hughes. Does push his man. And a nice pass before the hit. Theodore back to help out. Now, Pietrangelo up to Holtz. And you can see that goal by the Vegas Golden Knights seemed to have killed off some of the momentum that Vancouver had produced for nearly a full period of gameplay time. Shot on net. Back to Holtz. And a good effort there. The puck's still scrambling in the blue paint as Thatcher Demko's able to spot that one. We've had a busy night. I mean, it's unfortunate that the number has now reached 7 goals, because approaching 40 shots, it's not like it hasn't been a busy night in net. Just not the numbers you were looking for to finish off your otherwise pretty exceptional season. Daniel Sprong now through the neutral zone, gets it over to Garland. Garland's going to rip a shot off the side of our glove, and even that shot we struggle to fight off. And I mean, unbelievable how lucky some of my guys just dead in the net. Unbelievable how unlucky some of these bounces are. Like, that's a pass going across the net. I go across to cut off the cross crease, and it perfectly bounces off the stick of Shea Theodore, who pokes it. And you can just see what an easy goal by Garland. And I mean, come on, EA. Those are some brutal goals. Did we finally get pulled? Am I allowed to breathe? We did not. So we're going to have a quick look at this. And I mean, like I said, when it rains, it pours in EA games. I mean, this is Sprung absolutely flattening Dorofeyev. Gets the puck. Oh, it didn't even hit Theodore's. It hit Pietrangelo's stick. You can see, look at him trying to receive it. This is Elias Pettersson right there. You can see his stick as he's assuming he's going to get it. We cut across to, but no. Why? Of course it does. Of course Pietrangelo gets his, and then Garland just fires it. Oh, it doesn't stay on it long enough. I was hoping it would show us just fall back and be like, are you kidding me? Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh. Like I said, when it happens, it happens. You can't stop it. Worst game of the season, and of course it happens on the final one of the year. Daniel Sprung up to Colasar. Colasar kicking it back. Pettersson now. Back, and my guy's just glued. Like, I can't move properly in the net right now. My guy's all sorts of just perplexed and confused, and just get him out of the crease in this one. White Cloud now loses the puck to Pettersson, and he'll get it up to Garland. Garland, heroic defenseman jumping in. Wow, I did not expect in the final game that there would be 12 goals up until this point. Still 6 minutes left, by the way. And an 8-4 advantage to the Canucks. Wow. Backdrop pass. Mark Stone now trying to get his 30th. Demko will at least shut down that attempt right now. Ay, ay, ay. You just got to kind of shake your head and laugh at some of these goals. The poke check perfectly back on the stick. The magnetization of the puck is also something that drives me bonkers. You know, my hopes with all this would one day be like, maybe we get big enough as a channel where I get invited to one of those EA Showcase NHL days, the community days, because I would probably never get invited back because I would just rip apart some of the things that just suck about the game. But I would just love to tell them things about basic hockey plays that just never, ever would happen. It would just be fun to just listen to why certain things are the way they are in the game. But that's a pipe dream. Maybe one day, you never know. Barbashev. And I wouldn't be even negative that much about the gameplay. I just want the game modes to feel a little bit more authentic and unique each year. Like, we've talked about it, and this is a perfect... This game is already over, so we can now in the last game brainstorm some things. But like, Be a Pro hasn't been touched in about 5 years. It's the same intro. It's the same, you know, weird layout that they've had that not a lot of people are very friendly about. You know, myself, I hate the conversations with teammates and agents, and there's such unrealistic conversations like, hey, we're going to a museum. Do you want to buy tonight? And if I decide to buy it, I gain teammate approval but lose brand approval. Like, nothing makes sense about that. But I would love like the game mode to just be a little bit freshened up, a different take on what it means to be a pro. I would love to see different customization options for offline game modes where, like I said, bring back calendar events. Like, hey, this is bobblehead night. You see it in MLB The Show all the time. Like, I would love there to be a calendar option where it's like on December 15th, it's going to be reverse retro night. We can set it in advance. I don't have to worry about going in on that date and setting my jersey. We say, use our alternate jersey on this date. Everybody in the crowd will be given, you know, that color. If it's a red jersey, they're given the red, you know, towel to wave, or you see more fans in the crowd wearing the third jersey. I would love to see just different options like that that makes it a little bit more unique across season to season. I just think that would be so much better and so much more fun. I want them to bring back the old intros where it showed like the building and it showed fans getting excited. Then it showed your players on the ice warming up. Then it did like, with the option to skip that shouldn't make anybody upset. Right now, it's like the same two intros. You see a couple little flashy lights or the national anthem, and then it's immediately in a puck drop. I want to see new announcers. It's been the same announcers for years, and not a lot of people like them. There's just so much that I feel like NHL can improve on. Now, don't get me wrong. Their last few patches are actually really cool. They're bringing in the 4 nations. They brought in PWHL, which we're actually going to be starting a season for them later this week. I think that's excellent. They've done a lot of good patches, but I would love to see more and improve, not just keep same their game modes. As the final game of this season comes to an end, the Canucks absolutely torching us will make us look a little embarrassed, and our numbers will surely dip as a result of that game. Unfortunate coming in game 82, but what a season it was nonetheless. We're going to end the season first place overall, first in the division, first in wins with 54, nearly getting 55. And for us, it's, yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate ending. You hate to see that. 8 save percentage is nowhere near where we need to be. But that is going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally arrived. Playoff hockey starts in the next episode. We're not going to simulate through games like we normally do. Shut up, Sabalski. Holy jumpers. We need 5-hole. Where is it? 5-hole right there. It's 88, and I still feel like our guy. Maybe it's reflexes that I need. I wonder if I actually just botched that point. Wondering if I need to start putting it into... I mean, recover's pretty good. Is there not a reflex? There's got to be a reflex here somewhere. Aggressiveness, agility, durability. Is there actually not a reflex stat anymore? I guess they took it out, and it's probably like merged into rebound and recover. Maybe poise, high pressure situations. I mean, maybe that's what we needed in. Either way, we'll fool around with all these as we continue our career, but that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to simulate to the start of the playoffs, but we are going to look at every single game and every single, you know, box score and all that sort of stuff in the next video. Even if we get no games in the next one, Well, we'll see right here. What does Schneider say to us?
By the coaching staff earlier today that they're going to go with the rookie on the bench when this series gets
Yeah, I mean,
underway.
that's we expected that. I don't know why James Cebulski's sounding so, shocked. So our coach says, for the playoffs, you're going to be backup. The way you played throughout the regular season, the coaching staff decided this role better suits you. I mean, this is another example of why the coaching thing sucks, because that sounds like he's mad at how we played, and we were not only the best rookie goaltender in the league, we were better than some regular season starters. But like I said, yeah, I'll be ready if you need me. I'll take any chance I get. Be ready for the playoffs. Every team has an unlikely hero at some point. So we knew we were not going to start. Then that's what I was about to say is, the next video, we'll simulate through every game. We'll keep an eye on how players are doing, all that sort of stuff. And if we happen to get a game, we'll certainly dive in and play it. Right now, the focus shifts to the boys in front of us, to Aiden Hill, getting ready for the playoffs. I don't know why they need to tell me that. That's kind of stupid. But we are playing in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Minnesota Wild. And we obviously have home ice advantage. It should be a really fun one. Let's have a quick look at... How do you figure out, is it box scores? I'm trying to look at the playoff picture. It should be here somewhere. Maybe it's in schedule, calendar. Let's have a quick peek here just to see if we can see the matchups. Okay, here we go. So in the Western Conference, the Vancouver Canucks miss out on the playoffs. So not only did they need that, they needed other things to go their way. I cannot believe they actually missed out. But the first round for the Western Conference, it's the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Minnesota Wild. The Oilers will take on the ever-surging Seattle Kraken. That should be a very fun matchup to keep an eye on. Can Seattle upset the Oilers in the first round? Nashville will take on the St. Louis Blues, and Winnipeg will take on Dallas. So the only shocker for me is Vancouver actually did not make it. That just shows you kind of how rough their last couple months of the season were. And on the East, it's pretty much everybody you would kind of expect. You obviously have Tampa taking on Florida, so it's the battle of that state over there. We have Ottawa, the coveted rival of Ottawa versus Toronto is back. That should be a fun one. New York taking on Montreal, and the Hurricanes taking on the Devils. So a pretty exciting playoff picture is upon us. We obviously need to forget about what just happened there in that final game and be ready in case we're called upon. But it all starts next episode. The final season totals 107. Did he pass Connor McDavid? He did not. McDavid ended up getting 2 more points, a goal and an assist to steal this one away from Jack Eichel. Kucherov did end up getting 60 on the season to join Austin Matthews. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. What a fun one. Thank you so much for the ride during this entire season. All these videos boiling up to this point in our career. We'll see if the boys can get off to a strong start. If we're plotted into a game, we need to be ready. But until the next one, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye on the videos. The next one we drop is going to be playoff hockey. Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care of yourself. Appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you back here in playoff hockey, baby.